Hey everyone, it's the Eclectic Candyman here today on this E46 series BMW 2001 325i wagon, and we've got a check engine light or CEL. Alright, so first thing we want to do is get in here to the OBD2 sensor. Just has this little cover, and we'll put it on, and then we'll put the key into the auxiliary position. Alright, this will go ahead and connect, and we will find out what engine code we have and how to fix it. Alright, so we have a P0365, which is a camshaft position sensor B circuit bank 1. So we'll go ahead and need to get that fixed. I have the part. Let's go to the engine bay and get it replaced. Alright, inside the engine bay here, what we're after is, down in here, the camshaft position center, which is right here. There's a harness on it, and I've already gotten the part. Got it off of Amazon. I got the Delphi version. You can get BMW original. A lot of parts I do go with OEM BMW, but in this case, this is a quality part. It cost me about $50. So to get this off, it's just a squeeze on the harness on both sides, and it will pull right off. There are two tabs on each side. A little bit stubborn there, but I was able to get it out. Here is the sensor. There is an Allen wrench nut on the bottom side, so we're going to get the appropriate socket. I find that the easiest to get in there. Remove it, pull it out, put the new one in. All right, some of you may have noticed that there was a bit of oil down in here. One of the problems on these E46 are the valve cover gasket, which is a replacement I'll be doing right next. And honestly, if you look down in here, there actually, and it might be difficult to see, but there's actually a little bit of oil inside the sensor, and that may have caused the malfunction. Not 100% sure on it. These do go bad, but if you happen to have oil dripping from the valve cover gasket, you know, down onto these sensors, that's certainly not going to help any situation. So just an FYI, but I will be replacing that in order to make sure that this stays nice, clean, and dry. All right, so what I have here is a 5mm Allen socket. You can use a Allen wrench, but if you're going to be working on cars any amount of time, you'll want to get a set. All right, you have to feel your way into that bolt. There we go. I wanted an extra long, and this has a swivel head, this Craftsman here. So we'll just break it loose. Easy does it. Find this a lot easier to do than using an Allen wrench. Just a lot more laborious. All right, we're going to get this out, but when it gets towards the end, I'm going to have my hand down here because I don't want that falling down. This is the only bolt securing it. All right, so I got the bolt out. There it is. Make sure you put your hand under it so you don't lose it. Did take a little bit of patience, but it came right out. All right, next up we have to pull this physical sensor out itself. It's only secured by that bolt, but it does have a retaining washer that over time will have expanded and shrunk, so it's a little stubborn getting out, and it feels like your hands are getting chewed up down here, but with patience you should be able to wiggle it out. Yep, feel it. I'm just kind of going back. There we go. And there it is, the old sensor. All right, let's get the new one on. All right, so we got the old sensor and the new one, as I mentioned. By the way, I always recommend buying parts via the VIN number of your car to save time from getting the wrong part, which it looks like this one is. All right, so I know this is a different view right now because I had to come back. I'm working on the valve cover gasket. I was just mentioning, make sure you get the right one and use the VIN, and sure enough, right in the middle of the video, I had the wrong one. So take the one with you to the parts store, because you usually can get these at the big box store or the BMW dealer, and make sure you get the same one. Okay, so once again, it just comes straight out. And another reason I didn't end up replacing it that day after I got the right one is because I realized how bad the oil leak was from the valve cover gasket. Had I put a brand new sensor in, it might have ruined it. Even though there's this seal right here, it's just not a good idea. So if this is potentially failing because you have a bad valve cover gasket, go to the source of the problem first. Really difficult to tell, but you can see some oil residual, you know, anyway on this, but it's inside the engine, so you're going to get some of that. But nonetheless, I want to wait until it was the right time to replace this. All right, so this time around, you can see indeed we have the same sensor. So installation is a real quick reverse of the same. One thing I will do is just take a rag and gently get down there and clean the hole where the sensor goes into, just to make sure there's no additional dirt or residue. So we're looking pretty good there. And what's interesting is if I come over here, since I have this unique view right now, it's a little difficult to see, but right by my thumb, you can see the rag moving around. So that's where the location of that sensor is. So it just goes right into there. Again, you don't need to be intimidated if you skip forward in this video. You do not need to take all this apart. We're just replacing the sensor down there. All right, it's ready to put back in. All right, I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil on this seal before I stick it in the engine, just so it doesn't drag on it. And installation, as I mentioned, is the reverse. Put it down in there. Now, one of the things I'm trying to do is, I know the screw holes on the bottom, a lot of this work you're kind of doing without being able to see very well. So I'm trying to feel it flush to the bottom. It slides in nice and easy. And I'm trying to get, so there's a side on it that's flush, and I can feel it, because now's the tricky part. You got to get that screw aligned on the bottom without really being able to see it. All right, so one trick that I do, and I have a video on this, I put the bolt on the end of this socket, the 5 metric socket, hex socket, and I just put a little bit of lithium grease and then put the screw on that. That keeps it from dropping, because I did drop it once. I had to use a magnet from underneath the car to get it. It's just a mess. And so this is one trick that you can use. Take your time when you do this. And then what you can do is it's difficult with my hands here, but you can pivot the sensor in the hole until you feel that bolt click into the threads behind it. There we go. Made a little bit of a snap, kind of a popping noise as the bolt went in there. Now I'm hand tightening that socket while I hold it with my other hand. All right, just tightening it up. All right, just finished tightening it up. Nice and easy. It's not going to come out of place. Don't have to put any serious crazy torque on it. And there, we're all set. Another thing, this module kept tearing up my hand, as you can see right here from this little corner. It's really easy. It's just plastic. If you want to get this out of the way, it gives you some more access down below. So we've got our new sensor in there. We can plug our harness down here, right back in, and we'll be all set. Anyway, this should fix our engine code. Pretty simple to do, and I hope you found it helpful. Until next time, this is the Eclectic Handyman. We'll see you later.